So we're going to take a look at Discovery Education. The website is www.discoveryeducation.com. I'm going to use this to explore this particular website that allows us to use digital content for our classrooms. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that when you get to this website, you log in. If you have forgotten your username or password, make sure that you click Forgotten Username or Password to figure that out, or contact your administrator. So some of the most important things about Discovery Education for you to take a look at would be the following. My content. There's also some great tools here in professional development, but my content is what we're going to use to look at how to find digital content that you can use in your classroom. It's also kind of exciting too. Some of you may want to consider becoming a DEN star or a Discovery Education Network star teacher. It's a very simple program, but you can feel free to go through your profile and edit that accordingly. So the simplest thing to do for content is click on My Content, and this would show you all the things that you have saved. So content areas that I'm focused on are English and German, and those are some of the things that are important to me. But to search for content, the thing you're going to want to do is simply go to this search box. There's also the advanced search feature, and I'll look at that in a little bit. But for the easiest thing is just kind of think about, well, what are you teaching right now? And figure out what kind of content you're going to want. So, for example, if I'm going to be working on the play Julius Caesar, I could search for Julius Caesar, and that would give me some more historical content. I could also focus on Shakespeare and look at content from the literature standpoint. So if I go ahead and click on type in Shakespeare for my search, I can narrow that search by grade. Sometimes there's great content K-12 that does work for high school. I tend to like to limit my searches for 6 through 12, especially if you're dealing with Shakespeare. However, sometimes even with simple math, health elements as well, even some history, there's some fun ones kind of in those lower levels. So I select by those grade levels. You can search by subject. I choose not to select my content by subject because I want it to be varied, and then I can choose. And media types is really important. You can narrow this search in a little bit. So right now I'm going to keep it broad and look for all media types. You'll notice that Discovery Education has lots of different digital content areas. So you can get clip art, you can get videos, images, there's audio, there's some songs. Discovery Education has a lot of really nice sound effects as well. So if you're working on film elements for your class, or you want to incorporate an interesting sound effect in your PowerPoint or Smart Notebook presentation, you can download those. Of course, reading content, some great encyclopedia articles. Discovery Education does have some ebooks. Some of those you do have to pay for. So there's just a lot of different types of materials. Geography and history, great interactive maps, and they do even have some interactive materials for science. And here are some lessons under Teach. So if you already want some lesson ideas, there's all sorts of things. So I'm not going to select my media type right now. I'm going to keep it broad for Shakespeare, and the only thing that I've selected is I've narrowed down the grade levels. So easy. I can hit search or I can hit submit. And that brings up the search results. So for Shakespeare alone, there are 755 results. That's wonderful. You'll notice that you can continue to narrow your results here off to the left-hand side. So I could select subject, grade. This is where I typically decide to narrow my media type. It allows me to expand and gives me some better numbers here. So just for things that I can view, there are 83 videos on Shakespeare. Now, those 83 videos have been divided into short segments. An attention span of a student doesn't always last for 30 minutes. So maybe there's a 8-minute video segment out of an entire full video that I'm interested in looking at. So I can expand some of these search options and then decide if I want to keep that narrowed. This also shows me here in full video. It shows me the length of the video, or as an audio clip, the length of an audio clip. It tells me the type of media that this is, so audio, image, and it gives you a little preview of what it looks like. You, of course, can keep these and use them. So, for example, if I wanted to use this image for a presentation in my class, I could click on it, and by clicking on it, it gives me a lot of options here. It gives me the details, which I love because we always want to cite our work. So here's the MLA citation. If I wanted to allow students to use this, they could cite the image. So I really like the details. And then once again, it kind of tells me primary source, grade levels, interesting stats. So some of you who are interested in looking at that. So that's the details. But here's the download. So the download allows me to download this to my computer. So you just have to choose what file type you want. And then it's as simple as clicking on it. And then it's going to ask you, depending on what you're using, do you want to save it? And it's now saved to your computer. And then you can close that. So that's one way of looking at it. You can also view the drop-down menu, and you can add it to your content folder in Discovery Education. You can share it with others, but if you want to view it, you're going to want to click on it, and you can simply start playing. So if you're just testing it, this is streaming. So this is specifically an animated short video on Othello. It shows here that it's divided into segments. So if you're going through Othello in class, and you just are going to talk about Act 1 one day, Act 2, you may want to download each individual segment. Desdemona. So this is an animated, and this allows you to preview it. Once again, you give the details. So students, if students want to cite this in a paper, or if you need to cite this for credit, if you're putting it in Blackboard, there's your MLA citation under details. Your download options. So what file type? Is it QuickTime, Windows? So what file type are you interested in downloading it as? What I also like is if you really like this type of video, there's this more in series option, and this is sort of new. And you can click on it and it says, hey, not only can you get Othello animated, but you can get Winter's Tale, Hamlet, Tempest, Taming of the Shrew. So you can scroll through those, and that helps you find more like the media type. This isn't available in all, but most video and audio media types, it gives you the more in series. And then more to explore gives you more information that's going to be helpful to this area. So obviously I clicked on something that was Othello, so they're thinking, oh, well, maybe I just want Othello. So there's the BBC versions, some other video segments that have to do with Othello. So that's a little bit in terms of content area. So simply searching for a topic. So if I wanted to do information about the Olympics, Now you can see this has 347 results, a lot of video segments. What's great if you're a language teacher is you can also click on language and it'll tell you the media type's language. So, if I'm teaching French and I click on this, this is going to give me a video segment that is in French. So for language teachers, this is great because you're going to get content in the target language. And some of it is the video um, text also in French, or it's produced by the French company. So I like the language type result. Something else you can try. So Discovery Education is filled with many different types of content that you can use in your class. And I highly recommend that you spend a little bit of time when we return this school year exploring what you can use. There's stuff for all content areas: health, PE, theology, social studies, languages, English, the arts, and whether that's drama, music, the visual arts, dance. There's tons of stuff on here for science. Discovery Education has great science and social studies books, so a lot of those content areas are available for you to explore as well. And math, not just math from a historical perspective, but there's some math explanations and some really great math songs. I think one of my favorite is Lodge McCammon. I think I'm spelling that right. So if you search for him, you're going to come up with all sorts of fun songs that he's been writing. I think he's from North Carolina, and he has all these fun songs that sometimes you feel could be a little elementary, but you can explore the text and the audio with your high school students, and it's going to help them remember some things. So I think he's got some great things that you can use, especially most of his content is math, social studies, and science related. He does have a few songs that are now based on novels, so I would recommend checking out Lodge McCammon. So have fun exploring Discovery Education and using some of this digital content in your classes.